We're going to start in 3, 2. Welcome to an ultra extra special edition of Reanimated Writers podcast, a video edition all about zombie movies. I have 4 wonderful guests with me today, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, talk a little bit about their books, 30 seconds to a minute, guys. Sylvester, you're up. Who are you? What do you write about?
My name is Sylvester Barzy. I'm the author of the Planet Dead series. Currently got 3 books out right now, and I just deal in horror and fantasy. Everything zombies.
Annie, you're up.
Hi, my name's Annie. I write under A.M. Geaver. I have 3 books out in the Undead Age series. Basically your standard kind of zombies, survival, that kind of stuff.
But you've got a love story in there, don't you?
Oh yeah, and yeah. But yes, I do.
Oh,
yes, I have some romance in there because you need something to get you through the apocalypse.
Camille, you're up, and I know you have 2 series, an older series and a newer series. You can mention both if you wish.
Great. Yeah, my name's Camille Picot, and I do have 2 zombie apocalypse series. The first is Undead Ultra, and this pits endurance running athletes against zombies. And the second one is Zombionist Invasion, and we can think of this as 80s Cold War. Soviets invade with the zombie virus. And I actually just finished the first book in a new series, Randy. It's called Jesus Christ Zombie Killer. And,
I love it.
There was coming out later this summer.
There a very intriguing book out several years ago, and I haven't read it. It was like 33 AD or something about a vampire in around the time of the resurrection. I don't know if it was Judas or what. Anyway, so Tim, you're up.
Hey, my name is Tim. I write under T.W. Smith. I have 1 zombie book called The Dead Next Door. I am working on a second. I also write in multiple genres, so I'm a little slow. And I'm working on the audio version of the book as we speak.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to mix this up and just pick people at random. And I'm going to go with Tim since you went last. It'll be reverse order.
Oh.
What is your favorite zombie movie or the first zombie movie you saw and your reaction to it, especially if you were a child and it terrified you?
I will say the first zombie movie I ever saw is probably the scariest zombie movie and my favorite. So it is, and we've talked about this before, Dawn of the Dead, the original. Saw it as a midnight movie in a movie theater. And I can remember as a teenager hearing the commercials on the radio of the local rock station saying, this movie is, a big taboo, the dead are coming to eat you, that kind of stuff. And it just freaked me out. So I had to see it.
Camille, first zombie movie or favorite zombie movie?
Favorite zombie movie? Gosh, there's so many, but I'm going to go with The Kingdom on Netflix. This is a Korean medieval zombie flick, and I love it. We get some Asian representation in there, and I like fantasy, so there's that fantasy element to it as well.
Sylvester, you're up.
It goes between Day of the Dead and Train to Busan. It just depends what mood I'm in. I love zombie movies that do something different, like we had Bub and in Train to Busan. I just never seen an attack in such a closed space before, and I just love things like that. I definitely love Korean zombie movies.
Haven't there been like 4 remakes of Day of the Dead? I'm kidding, but haven't there been several Day of the Dead Bloodlust?
They were all terrible.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Bloodlust.
They were all terrible.
Annie.
I kind of have a 2-way tie. I realized when I was thinking about this. Original Night of the Living Dead, 1968. It's a classic. It's the first zombie movie I remember seeing that was about modern zombies versus like the Caribbean zombie genre, which is what they were before. Also, Train to Busan. Amazing movie, and it's not what I like the most, but what I find the most intriguing about it is that, there's no guns because people don't have guns the soldiers have them way at the end, but there's no guns. And it was just that made it really refreshing in terms of the rest of the genre. And then it was just a great movie. Like Sylvester said, like all that close space.
So Camille, what do you feel is the most underappreciated or underrated zombie movie? And what I'm looking for is one that's off the beaten path. It could be low budget, or you found interesting, or might even be a derivative. I mean, even somebody like something like Warm Bodies. I don't, whatever. I don't.
That's actually the one I was thinking of, Randy, because it's Romeo and Juliet in the zombie apocalypse. It's a little outside of the box, but yeah, I love that movie. And I definitely think that's one you don't think of, when you think of zombie movies. That's probably not one of the first ones that comes to mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sylvester, underrated or underappreciated zombie movie?
I love Night of the Living Dead. It's a rom-com zombie movie about some girl who gets a one-night stand and then the zombie apocalypse happens. And I love rom-coms. I love zombies. So it all came together for me. It's one of my favorites.
Tim, you're up.
I'm going to go with Romero again and Diary of the Dead, when he tried to reinvent it and put it in a different timeline, and also kind of cashed in on the found footage craze in horror movies.
Doesn't it have the very interesting scene with the Amish character in it? Do you remember or not? Was that the one with the Amish character? Okay, drawing a blank.
Maybe. I mean, there's so many different people like on the streets and stuff. It's the one with the swimming pool where they're all chained to the bottom of the swimming pool, which I thought was cool.
I of all the Dawn of the Deads after the first two, it's probably one that I find most intriguing. I like Survival. I didn't like the first Survival of the Dead because I didn't like anybody in it. But then I warmed up to those despicable people and I liked it better. But Diary of the Dead, Annie.
Zombieland. It's just hilarious, and when I think zombies, I don't always think comedy, and they just did a great job. And besides, the whole Twinkie thing was hilarious.
My underrated movie is really one way off the beaten path. It's called State of Emergency. You can tell I have a degree in filmmaking, and I cut my teeth on low budget horror. Helped out. I'm getting a Blu-ray copy of a movie I worked on when I was in college, and anyway, so the State of Emergency, you can tell. I mean, I watch it and I go, I appreciate it because I can tell they're working against a deficit of budget, and it's just a neat little movie. I recommend you all watch it. I'm not sure if it's on any streaming services now. So anyway, Camille, now pick one of your series. If your book was made into a movie, who would you cast to play the lead? And tell us who the lead is and say he's a football player or she's a cheerleader or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I actually thought about this a lot. So definitely would be Undead Ultra. And there's two Ultra runner characters. These are people that have been running for, 20 plus years. And so the first is Kate. She's a 39-year-old widow, and I would cast Jennifer Garner. And then her BFF running buddy is Frederico. He's in his 60s. And I would totally cast Cheech Marin because Frederico is a recovering addict, and he's skinny and Latino, and he'd be perfect. And I like how different those two characters are, because you don't imagine Jennifer Garner and Cheech Marin in a movie, let alone a zombie movie. So
it would be a great pairing.
Yeah.
Annie.
I'm so old and lame that I don't necessarily know who all the young actors are. I think Jennifer Lawrence would be tough enough to play Miranda, who has some serious alcohol and mental health issues and is very tough. I modeled her love interest on Timothy Oliphant, but he's probably a little too old, but that's who I modeled it on. So
thought you were going to with Katharine Hepburn. You zombies, you're not going to kill me.
The old poop.
I'm not that lame, but I'm definitely getting lamer as the days go by, as my nieces and nephews.
You're not going to eat Norman Thayer. Tim, so who would you cast?
Well, my book is loosely based on my favorite book, I Am Legend. So it's basically about a man by himself in a world of zombies, and he doesn't have a gun, and he's never used a gun. And the person I would cast would be Matt Damon, because he's pretty much already done the part in The Martian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sylvester, what do you got? Who do you?
I'm terrible with actors' names, so I had to Google it while everybody was talking. But I've always wanted Gugu Ra. She played in Belle, and she was in the what do you call it? I forget her name. But my fans, I had them vote once, and they wanted Zoe Saldana.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So they just threw my vote totally out.
So
I like
my
your
my book, my guy's a former slacker, sort of snarky, sarcastic guy. He's the lead, young 20. So I picked Joe Carey from Stranger Things. My guy might be, as the books go on, he might be a little beefier than him. So anyway, what zombie movies influenced your writing, Sylvester?
I'd say it wouldn't be like movies, but well, if I'm gonna talk movies, it'd be Resident Evil because there's a lot of like mutations and stuff in my series. But Z Nation was always on in the background while I was writing my books, and I incorporate a lot of humor and sarcastic remarks, and so that plays heavily in the Planet Dead series. So Z Nation and Resident Evil.
Tim.
Oh man, I've got to go back to the original again. It's going to be the first three, and there's elements of all three of night, dawn, and day in my novel, and there will be in the future ones as well. I'm a traditionalist. I go with the slow movers.
Annie.
I guess visually, I would have to go with like 28 Days Later. I mean, like whenever I'm writing, I'm always trying, because I have, this dream that somebody will want to make my books into a movie someday. So I always do try to think like what it looks like on the screen, which also helps you write it. And I like the cinematography in 28 Days Later.
The tail keeps throwing me.
So who's your cameo? You're coming into your shot, Andy.
It just comes out of nowhere. It's like
she's my little baby. Yeah, if I don't hold her, she'll like sit there meowing at everybody. And you'll
Camille, what zombie movie influenced your writing the most?
I'd have to say Walking Dead, because that was out when I was writing, and that was like my husband and I, that was our standing date every week, was to watch The Walking Dead. And I love the characters. I love that nobody is safe, even the most beloved characters. And so I definitely put that aspect into my books. I never like any of my characters to be safe. You never know who's going to bite the big one.
Yeah, mine is, when I finally thought about it, it is Stephen King's The Stand meets The Walking Dead, because I have a whole overarching good versus evil thing going on. So what zombie movie you think was made that needs a sequel? And it could even have a sequel. It could be the third movie, it could be the fifth movie, it could be Resident Evil 20. Tim.
I'm going to say Black Summer, because I've been waiting on the sequel to that series for a while.
Yeah.
That's being teased to come out this summer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming out.
It got delayed because of COVID or something.
Right.
But I was really impressed with the first, 6 episodes, I guess it was.
I think it's coming out in like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
I hated that series. I got angrier the more I watched it, and then like they're all anyway, and that ending just made me yell out loud at the television in very bad language. And then I was like, what do you expect, you idiot? You watch the whole thing.
Yeah, so I want to turn this into a CNN interview. I want you guys fight. I'm
rewatching season 1 right now, and it's like I'm still hyped about it. I found myself just sitting down waiting for the scene when the girl goes crashing through the windshield. That's all. I was like, I know it's about to happen. I just don't know when.
I would say
it was good. That's what made me so angry about it. Yeah. The first couple of episodes were good, and then it just, so in my opinion, which clearly is not shared with everybody.
I'm not a big fast zombie person, but I do like the big ones, like 28 Days Later and Train to Busan. But I thought Black Summer was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was done well. I didn't like the only character I liked was Sun. I didn't like anybody else. I didn't like the main characters and the people they tried to focus on. I liked Sun because she didn't speak English.
Exactly. It was great.
Although I secretly think she does speak English and she's just not telling anybody. But I love the fact that she was just so smart and she understood everything that was going on, but nobody listened to her. But
I think it's some great tension to it. The whole diner sequence,
yeah.
Who's good? Can you trust these people? Or are they going to throw me to the zombies?
Yeah.
Camille, you haven't spoken yet. I want to get your take.
I wanted to love Black Summer. It fell a little short for me.
Oh.
And I think it's because I'm not great at remembering movies, but I think the characters weren't as drawn as I wanted them to be.
But what movie?
It was a B. Oh, sorry.
What movie do you want a sequel for?
It's the Netflix series. Sylvester, is it called? Is it Daybreak? Is that the one with all the kids?
Yeah, it's Daybreak.
Okay. I love that one, you guys. Daybreak it's just told kind of quirky through the point of view of this kind of a nobody teenage boy, but there's a lot of really interesting characters and they do a lot of like just weird juvenile shit. And it's like kind of Lord of the Fliesy. It's good. I liked it. I was sad they weren't going to keep it going.
Yeah, Daybreak definitely needs a season 2. I get so mad at Netflix because I get invested and then they don't give me anything. So
I don't like anything that my husband and I like because we are like we can pick a one-hit wonder, like a one-hit wonder with 100% accuracy.
That's what I was starting to think I was jinxed or something because I was like, oh, Daybreak is awesome. I can't wait. Canceled. I was like, oh.
in our house, any show we like, we know it's going to be canceled. This one's great. It's good. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. I just saw on Deadline that's been canceled. All right. So what zombie movie needs remade? Sylvester.
I don't know about remade. I would like a sequel to Day of the Dead, one focused on the original people from the original movie and maybe see what happened to them if they made it to an island or something. I don't want another remake. They've trashed it. It seems like every remake they do, they just get so caught up on Bub and the aspect of a talking intelligent zombie that they just scrap the whole other part of the story. And it's sad. I hate Bloodline or whatever that thing was called.
I've always wanted to see, and I should have stepped back and answer the last question myself. I wanted to see the sequel to Dawn of the Dead because I wanted to know what happened to, the 2 surviving characters flying off in that helicopter about to run out of gas. Anyway, Camille, is there one that you would pick that you would want remade? You thought,
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Can they redo Zombieland 2 because it was horrible and the first one was so magical, right? It was so good. I wanted that magic in number 2, and then you're just kind of like, WTF? Like, what did I just spend my money on?
See, I always say you need to have my approach with life. Lower your expectations.
Okay.
They gave us so many good actors though, and then it was just like nothing.
Yeah,
no
excuse for a good script, or substitute for a good script.
Mm-hmm.
So Annie, do you have one that you would remake?
I can't think of anything, so just don't waste time on
We'll
it.
skip, pass. Tim, did I hit you already? Yes.
I tell you, I would remake World War Z. I hate that movie. I can't stand it. And if you've read the book, you know why.
They didn't even make it about the book. Give us a TV show.
Can I piggyback on that? I would like to see World War Z as a Netflix series.
Yes.
That would be the way to do it. Insofar as making it a movie, I think they did the only thing they could do, but you couldn't do that book. But I would love to see it as a Netflix series.
But the movie was fast zombies. The book wasn't.
No, they should have brought up a black screen. Any resemblance to the book that by the same title is coincidental.
I mean, if they wanted to focus the book as like a movie, I would have just did one story at a time and made a series of movies. They could have just focused on one character at a time or something. But yeah, I would definitely rather it as a Netflix series to do it justice.
And have y'all read the original one he did, the Zombie Manual?
No.
To me, it's scarier than World War Z. It's a great book.
Okay.
It's got a whole bunch of like little side stories, and it's just so much facts just in it. Or I guess facts.
Randy, can I hijack for a second?
Go away. Get it.
What's everybody's favorite story from World War Z? Mine was the pilot.
That was mine. The pilot was
Oh.
mine.
I
I
always
can't
like the
remember.
the Battle of Yonkers.
Yeah,
That was good too.
that was very good. Yep.
No, I loved it. So anyway, next question. Camille, worst zombie movie.
Oh, well, I
Oh.
just mentioned that one. There's another one. I can't remember the name. You guys help me, but it had the guy from Star Wars in it. It had this great cast. It had the guy that plays the young or the dark,
Luke? Oh,
not
wait.
not Luke.
Anakin?
Oh, Christian Hayden.
No, the dark-haired guy who's in the one. The most
Oh,
recent Star
I know
Wars.
which one you're talking
movie?
about, the Jim Jarmusch one that just came
The
out.
Dead Don't Die.
Dead
That
Don't-
one.
Oh.
I have
I was
not
like-
seen it.
I've not seen it.
Oh
I've
my
heard bad
God.
things.
I
How did
heard
you get
very-
so many good actors to do such a bad movie?
Jarmusch is such a mishmash, and I knew I wasn't going to like it, so I just decided to skip.
Good choice.
Annie, worst zombie movie.
That's so hard. There's so many.
Yeah, there are so many.
I mean, I'll just go with the most recent bad one, which was that one that was just on Netflix with the Vegas one. I didn't like it.
We're gonna get to that one at the end,
Okay, then I'll-
because we've already talked about this, and we have one lone defender, and we will table that one. Tim, what's the worst zombie movie?
I'm gonna just do an umbrella here because even though they're the worst zombie movies, they're also in my favorites, and it's all the Italian zombie movies of the 70s. and 80s. Love them, absolutely love them.
Did you saw the zombie, and it was the 79 one where the
shark
woman gets
fight?
her eye
The
impaled
shark,
on a
yeah.
that scarred me for life.
Yeah. I
I
saw it
mean,
at a drive-in.
I
Banned in 50
hated it and loved
countries.
it. Like a zombie fighting a shark, just
Yeah.
I was so confused about my feelings after.
So Sylvester, you might have a bad one. What's your favorite? Or it could be your favorite bad one. I don't know.
I've seen a lot of indie ones, but I'm not gonna hate on any indie ones. So I'll just go with Pride and Prejudice Zombies because I had high
Aw.
hopes for it. I'm sorry.
Like the
I had
book
high
too.
hopes for it. I kept falling asleep, and I was just so.
Oh, gee.
I was like, "What am I watching? I don't understand what's going."
Yeah, I wasn't there. I mean, it was good enough. Did you guys ever see the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? It's made by the
Yeah.
same people, I think.
That
Yeah.
was terrible.
liked
What
it.
was wrong is that the books were so much better than the movies, and I guess that's what irritates me the most.
Did I hit everybody up on the worst one? Annie, did I get you?
Yep.
Okay, want to make sure. Okay, so my worst zombie movie is Zombie Apocalypse. It has stars Ving Rhames, and it's really stupid throughout. And I literally, I don't know why I just didn't hit stop, but I watched all the way in. There's a zombie tiger in it. It's just stupid. There's just so
Wait.
much,
I just saw that.
and you loved it. No,
Or not.
it was sort of like a going by a, not a bad car crash, but a car crash. And I just kept watching it. It was like, oh, this is really terrible. Let's stop watching this.
That's
Oh,
how a lot of them are.
Yeah, that's sad to say. I mean, the zombie genre is littered with terrible movies, sadly.
By the time I officially realize I hate it, I've already put an hour in, and I'm just like, I might as well.
Yeah. So
Well,
what?
I
Go
think
ahead.
we're all optimists, and we're like, it's gonna get better.
It'll get better. No. Burp, burp. So what zombie movie scared you the most, Tim?
Oh man. I would have to go back to Dawn of the Dead again. I mean, it's one of those where you're watching it and it's fun and gory and you're like laughing with your friends. But then when you're at home by yourself, you start thinking, what if it really happened? What's that noise I hear in the next room? That kind of thing.
Camille, what zombie movie scared you most?
Probably World War Z with those freaky fast zombies.
Sylvester, anyone scare you? You seemed like, immune to being scared, but
I don't think anyone's ever scared me, so I'll just go with the Korean zombie movies when they twitch and snap, that freaks me
Yeah.
out a little bit. But
That's cool.
yeah, I don't think a movie's ever scared me.
Yeah, the whole Asian cinema thing has got a real creep factor that always gets under my skin.
Yeah, like the contortion and stuff. I'm just like, this is crazy.
Have y'all
I saw
seen
that in real life. Like,
hashtag
yeah.
alive?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Live was
Yeah,
so
I
good.
thought it was pretty good.
It was so
It
good.
was good. It was. I love how contained it was down to that one spot, and then I think there were a couple slips in it, but overall, I found it very enjoyable. Annie, what about you? Scary.
I have to say 28 days later, just because the way things happened, you know, like when that man who had the daughter, when he turned into a zombie, it was like so fast and sudden. And so I thought they did a good job with that. And I also thought they did a good job with people being creepy afterward, but without going over the top.
Yeah. Well, that was probably in all the zombie movies I've seen is I can't, the actor's name's Gleason,
Brendan.
the father. When
Brendan
he when he turns, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because literally it was incidental, but it wasn't. That drop got in his eye, and he knew within seconds that he was doomed. And so
that really creeped me out.
I think the Dawn of the Dead remake for me is the scariest because of the fast zombies. I'd go with 28 Days Later too, but I was more intrigued by 28 Days Later. This is a total aside. Everybody ever make I'm sure you have, that The Walking Dead starts off just like 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
I
realized that I was on another podcast and I was talking about like if The Walking Dead ever sued my book or something because of similarities, and then we were talking about 28 Days Later, and I was like, oh, okay, so they can't sue because they stole some stuff too.
I wonder if the comic started out the same way, and when did
it did.
It did. Yeah,
and it came out after.
Oh no, the comic predated
28 Days Later.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
no, it came out after
28 Days Later was like
2000,
I think.
Yeah, something like 2001, 2002. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole coma and walking into a broken world, they just ripped it right from it.
I started rewatching The Walking Dead with my wife. The Walking Dead's gonna be our last question. I'm sorry, we'll table this. I started rewatching and I loved the first X seasons, you know. But anyway, so what zombie movie came across as lame? I think we've already hit your favorites, but you know, The Dead Don't Die. Camille, is that the most lamest?
Yeah.
I've not seen that one. Anybody else want to jump in on this one? Because I can't think of one right now, to be honest. It was just one the question I threw out there.
It was World War Z for me. Like my wife swears by it, but I don't like it. And then I was just like, the whole not the cure, but the whole aspect of you being sick and the zombies bypassing you. I'm just wondering why it took so long for people to figure this out. Was everyone just healthy in New York and they all just died? Like I didn't get it. There was no one in the hospital that was sick enough to be bypassed.
If I was a younger man, it would have been Warm Bodies, because I didn't like the mushiness of warm, you know, the romance. But as I got older, I found it endearing. Tim, you got a lame zombie movie for us?
I mean, the only one I can think of are some of those what I would consider like a direct to video, like those or sequels you were talking about, Day of the Dead, whatever. I mean,
yeah,
I haven't watched them though.
That's true.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, there's only so much time in a day, and how much crap can you watch? Now, I did watch Zombie Apocalypse with Ving Rhames and a zombie tiger, so who am I talking about? So let's talk about the uncomfortable thing, Army of the Dead. And I know, Sylvester, you liked it. So tell us why you liked it. Why did you like that?
Okay, so I already went into it hyped up for it because I just felt like, being a creator in the genre, we haven't had a zombie movie in a while, and I already knew the plans of them making a franchise and everything. So I was like, okay, so this is going to be a large thing for our community. So I was ready and I was pumped for it. And when it comes to zombies, I just have a really open mind to things. I love fast zombies. I love smart zombies. So seeing Zeus, the like genetically jacked zombie, just run through Vegas and stuff and start turning people, I was just like, yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm okay with that. And then the concept of the heist, I already saw it done in Peninsula, so it just felt like it was just like Peninsula, but in Vegas. And I understood the concept because I felt like if I didn't have my wife and kids and the rest of the world was still running and I'm flipping burgers, yeah, I'd go into Vegas for $2 million. I don't have, or whatever $1 million that they had. I don't have anything to lose, so it doesn't seem like a big deal to me. So I like the concept. I love Zeus, and I love comedy with my my zombies. So I got a lot of good laughs out of it. So I've been defending it for a while now.
Yes, you've had to. Camille.
Okay, so I love the apocalypse starting with a blowjob. I wish I would have thought of that. I totally write that. I was like, that was awesome, right? The first 10 minutes, the apocalypse starts, and then I like the montage that they did, and they showed, putting up the containers, the shipping containers around the city. I loved all of that. And then I'm pretty lenient with plot holes. Like I don't care too much, but the whole thing about breaking into a vault when all they wanted was the zombie head. Well, it's like the guy got the zombie head, then like that's it. That was all they really wanted. So why didn't they just hire a team of people to go get a zombie head? What was the whole point of the vault thing? There was no point. It was like this wild goose chase.
That's what my wife said. She goes
into the city when they could just get into the city. They just hired the chick to take them in the city. They didn't need all this cloak and dagger and hire this whole team to break into a vault.
well, go ahead, Sylvester. Rebut.
Oh, okay. Well, my wife has a theory about that. Well, she has a theory about why they needed a safe cracker. But for me, I just don't think he can convince anyone to go get the zombie head, because what he was planning on doing was basically making military zombies and stuff like that. So after they saw Vegas fall, I guess he couldn't find that many people that were willing for him to try and do this again. I think there were just people that were like, no, I won't do it. But there's people that'll go in there for their own incentive, which is the money, and all he has to do is have his boy piggyback on with him. And I think the reason that he didn't just take the head and leave is because Vegas was already evacuated by then. So he just needed to get to the helicopter to fly out.
But if they interviewed the one woman that was taking people in, she would have been able to give them the lowdown. Anyway, All right. So into that rebuttal. Tim, your thoughts?
I mean, we just did a bonus episode dissecting it. And I mean, there's a lot of logic problems as far as time. But the biggest problem I have with it is that it rips off Aliens in like 6 major ways. I mean, I just listed them on the podcast that I did. Namely, if I had to do the biggest one right now, it would be when he has 9 minutes to go back and rescue his daughter, and the chopper's waiting for him, and he gets back up to the roof and the chopper's not there. All is lost. And then all of a sudden the chopper flies up and, oh, look, it's Bishop. He's going to rescue Ridley and Newt. Everything's going to be great. I was like, wait a minute. I saw this movie in 1986.
And it was good.
And it was a lot better.
Yes.
Annie?
There was a lot about the film that I liked. I want to be that pilot. I thought some of the characters were great. The pacing was really off, in my opinion. And the whole why do the heist thing. For me, mostly it was the pacing was part of the problem. And then the other thing, like my husband and I were talking about it later. And on the one hand, I was really, really happy to see such a diverse cast. It's not just a whole bunch of white men anymore. And the first person to die was a Latina. The bad guy is Japanese. And the guy who, by inference, will restart the zombie apocalypse is Black. And I was like, oh, really? So that kind of bummed me out. But mostly it was the pacing. The pacing didn't work for me.
I was with Tim. It's the logic flaws in it. There are too many little things. I would still, give it a C- because there's a fun factor to it. I mean, it was interesting. It's really cinematically, it has some really neat setups. but there are too many little things that I call them Walking Dead execution things that they didn't pull off. Like the woman comes through the glass and she's being besieged by zombies, and they're just sitting there watching her when they could have gone over to try to save
Yeah.
her. I
They-
mean, yeah,
It definitely could have saved her.
there
I
were
was
just
kinda
all these
mad
things
about
that when you're saying this, I would do this, and I'm just sitting on my couch at home. And granted, I have no risk involved. I've got no skin in the game, as they say. Are you guys from, the pilot is played by Tig Notaro, a famous,
Mhm.
comedian. She was not in the movie when they shot it,
Yeah.
Nope.
and they had somebody else cast. I have no idea who it was, but apparently there was some hanky panky. We'll just put it
It was
that
a
way.
rape allegation.
Oh, rape allegation.
Yeah.
Maybe with a minor, I think.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, it
by
was
the minute.
I don't know if you guys ever watched You, but he plays a
Oh, he
comedian.
played the stalker.
Yeah, no, he played the comedian in season
Oh.
2 who was raping women, drugging and raping women, and art imitated life. And apparently he was accused of raping and sexually assaulting underage girls.
So
or something.
anyway,
he got rid of
Tig
him.
Notaro was put in the movie, total green screen, didn't act with
Yeah.
anybody except
Yeah.
for one scene on the hotel roof, what I heard. And I love Tig Notaro. She's hilarious.
Mhm, she is.
She is. I mean, she's on, if you want to watch her on Star Trek Discovery on Paramount Plus. And she's got some great comedy routines. So,
Hey, what
Yeah.
about the robots?
The robot
yeah.
zombies.
Robot.
people
Oh,
thought
What are
those-
they?
people said those are Easter eggs for the future movies.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
and-
a lot of everything, it sucks because there are a lot of questions, and all of that is just stuff that he's left open for. There's an animated series coming, and there's future movies coming and stuff.
Well,
But-
how come Dave Bautista's character turns into a zombie in a matter of minutes, and the other guy gets on a plane and flies to Mexico hours later,
Radiation.
and he's been trapped in this vault and I mean, those are just things. It felt like a first draft of the script
Yeah.
that they didn't have somebody say, "Hey, Zach, this really doesn't work. Let's do something about that."
And how much time had passed? I mean, look how decimated the city was.
Oh, I think it's about 6 years.
Yeah, it was
Ah.
several years. It seemed
I
to
think
me
it was
like
6
there
years
was
after.
time for the city to be trashed. I mean, there was so much about that film that I thought really had potential. Like, I thought the smart zombies and the whole idea of giving us an offering. I mean, I thought that was cool. You're
Yeah.
gonna have zombies reproducing. I'm down with that. I mean, that could be super interesting. But yeah, there was just
I don't have nothing against innovation in the zombie genre. Fast zombies, slow zombie, intelligent. Some of the most. There was a book I read years ago, which was all slow zombies and not smart. And then the last line was the main character's sister got turned into a zombie, and she's going to shoot her, and she goes, "Don't shoot me." Something like that. It's like, holy crap!
Yeah.
I can't wait for the sequel. And then he took too long to write the sequel, and I never read it. So let's talk about something else that could be controversial. The Walking Dead. Are you still watching it? Is it any good? If you stopped watching, when did you give up? Camille.
I don't watch it anymore, and I threw in the towel when they killed Glenn. And I was very loyal. I was very faithful up until then. I just couldn't take it anymore after that.
Annie?
I quit watching after, I think it was mid season 6, because the one where they were in the eco village, and it was a combination of things. I watched, my friend gave it to me, and I was watching it on a plane from Greece. So it was a long ride, and I was watching them back to back. But that doctor made me absolutely want to punch her in the face, because she's a psychiatrist, which means she's a medical doctor who went to medical school, and she's spending the whole time saying, "I'm not a real doctor." Yeah, bitch, you are a real doctor. And if you want someone to want the whining, oh my God, the whining, I couldn't take it. So
Tim?
Yeah, I'm still watching it. Even though it deviates from the books, it's still very, very faithful to the books. Some of the characters change, but the storyline and the overall arc is the same. So
Sylvester, you still watching?
I fell off. I don't know where I fell off, and I kind of just keep up between like teaser trailers and stuff. I really want to start Fear the Walking Dead because I really like the whole cowboy hat aspects that's going on right now. I was just like, yeah, but I'm so behind. It's so intimidating.
I really had a lot of hope with Fear of the Walking Dead. I love the way it started because, obviously The Walking Dead starts into the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And this one starts before it. And I liked, this is how society falls apart. And then it just got boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tedious and they weren't really, walking any new ground. I psychically gave up on Walking Dead in season 6. I didn't like Glenn dying, but and then I kept watching through season 7 and I don't have cable, so I buy it off Amazon and season pass. And we were watching season 8 and my wife says, "Why are we watching this?" Because I said, "Because we're paying for it." "Why are we paying for it?" "Because you said you wanted to watch it." And that's the only reason we watched through season 8. It just the writing got really bad and the execution of the direction got really bad. There was an episode when they were battling the saviors that I literally just watched it and I started writing down everything that was wrong with it. And it was like 7 major things. I mean, this is the one that the camel, Strawberry Camel's back is, here's Rick and Daryl and the crew. They ride up to the saviors, wherever that warehouse or manufacturing place, right? And all of the saviors are standing on this catwalk out in the open. And here's Daryl, who can shoot a fly off a camel's back from 100 paces with a bow and arrow, mind you. And they start peppering that place with bullets, and not one savior falls. I mean, these are worse shooters than the stormtroopers from Star Wars, and it was just totally implausible. And they're, after the governor, I don't care. Negan was okay, but he was almost a recycled governor. The Whispers are just weirdos, and I love the show. I started talking about this earlier. I started rewatching it, and I went into that show with such excitement, and actually I still loved it. I think through season 3 it was good. Season 4 it was good. Then it started teetering, and season 6 it just fell off the.
Can I just
believe you just called Dad a recycled governor?
I love The Walking Dead, but one problem I really had with the first 2 seasons was all the women characters sucked. They were all either bitches or whiny, and everybody always says, "Oh, but Michonne," and Michonne is kick-ass, but we shouldn't have had to wait for Michonne because like Andrea wasn't this whiner. And
not in the comic.
In the comic, Andrea was not this whiner who was all about what she got to do or not do. So that was I was really glad when season 3, when they actually started to actually have better women characters, because the women characters sucked in the first season.
Yeah, some of the reason for those changes was because of Frank Darabont. He quit mid-season 2 or right before season 2, and a lot of those actors came on board with him, and they immediately said, "We don't want to be on here anymore." So they had to kill off Dale. They had to do something with Andrea. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes.
Yeah, because they all came from The Mist with him, right? Then he did direct The Mist, and he brought them.
Carol.
He brought the whole cast over.
Dale was probably, of all the earlier characters, the one I missed the most.
Mm-hmm.
And they always struggled to find the conscience of the show. There was always, the character that was going to go bad, that was going to go south, that was going to backstab somebody. But, Dale was the conscious, and then somebody else was the conscious, and then Carl was the conscious. And I don't know what it is now.
There is no conscience.
I didn't like the conscience of the show because I didn't like any of those characters.
Well, you didn't like Dale? You didn't like Dale?
I didn't like Dale. I didn't like Carl. So I didn't like Dale. I didn't like Carl. I like Dale in the comic book though. But that might be because he was kind of looking up with Andrea. So I was like, go Dale.
I like somebody that called for them to get above survival. That we got to retain some degree of humanity here. We just can't be savages.
I like Herschel. Once Herschel
Herschel.
Yeah, when Herschel was past the barn thing.
Yeah, he was
I like
crazy.
Herschel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Herschel was awesome. Shit. I
Yeah.
was just gonna say
Camille, there's some suspense in your shot. There's a face and a cracked door behind you.
Oh, this is how it starts.
You want
Yep.
to stick your arm in, and then you have to close the door. Okay. Go ahead and wave.
Hi.
Okay. Now close the door. You gotta go out.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
No, it's okay. We have a cat. We can have a child.
That's true. Okay. Out. Out.
Oh.
Nice meeting you.
They all say hello, honey.
So, I mean, this is a tough question. You'll have to go back. Best soundtrack on a zombie movie. Anybody can answer.
I got it.
Yes.
Return of the Living Dead.
I actually
Really
really
nice.
liked the soundtrack on Army of the Dead, that Netflix one.
Yeah.
That was
I
good.
thought there was some
Yeah,
good,
it did have
good
a good
tunes on there.
I think Zombieland has a good soundtrack. Are you no, Tim, are you talking about the 85 zombie?
Yeah.
I will tell you, I laughed like crazy when I saw that movie.
Yeah.
Just loved it to death. And I love I remember laughing so hard at the half a dog,
Mhm.
when the dog came back. Now I rewatched it and it didn't weather the test of time as much as I would have liked it. I rewatched it like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I still think it's funny. It's kind of
Oh.
like a comedic unofficial sequel to Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
You
absolutely.
still don't laugh when you hear only posers die?
Oh no, I laughed a lot. I mean, I still laughed. It just, I guess production has become a little more sophisticated along with
Yeah.
special effects
Send more paramedics.
Yeah. I wonder why they haven't remade that now.
Return of the Living Dead's been remade, or there's been
been-
sequels.
Well, there's
I
been
mean,
a ton of
I know there's
sequels.
sequels, but
Yeah.
did they remake it?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
They don't need to remake it. They just need to make our books into movies.
There you go.
That's right. Thank you.
How do
Thank
we-
you, Annie.
How do we get that done?
Ah,
I mailed them to people.
I'd love to see a Netflix series. That's for sure.
Yeah.
10 episodes. That's it.
Yeah.
What 10? Let's go 13.
I-
It'll be like the Marvel ones in which they have one really bad filler, boring episode.
I had a scammer reach out to me the other day saying
Oh.
that they wanted to, talk to me about making my book into a movie. And I was listening to it. They're like, we want to talk to Mr. A.M. Geaver. And I'm like, yeah, right. Sure, you want to make
You're
it
talking
into
to him. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. This should become every season. I do 13 episodes a season. Maybe this is the final episode of season 13. This should be what we do. And you guys have to help me come up with questions because I can't recycle these because we've already talked. And
Well, we could do books next time, Randy.
we
Instead of
could do
movies, we
books.
could do books.
yeah, we
Oh,
could.
that would
We
be
could do books.
awesome.
Yeah.
The only thing is we got to leave some of them out because you can't ask the question, what was the worst book? Because I don't want to bash.
Yeah,
other
I don't
authors.
either.
Yeah.
So
With
Why
ya.
don't
that-
we
I'm
do
with
like
ya.
traditional super?
Oh yeah, I'll
people?
bash the traditional people.
yeah.
Yeah.
How many traditional zombie? How many? I mean, Joe McKinley. I mean, who? Brian
McKinney.
Keane, McKinney.
Mickey Berry does.
Yeah,
Traditional.
And then
JL or the Bourne guy, JJ Bourne or JL Bourne.
yeah. I mean, there's very few
Yeah.
traditionally published zombie novels. I mean, we indies own the genre. So,
True.
well, again, everybody, thank you so much. We will definitely reconvene. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with you, and I hope that the listening and viewing audience feels the same.
Yay.
Thanks, Randy. It was fun.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah.